So, because I am insane and sometimes say things randomly to myself, I somehow came to the phrase Mr. Wiggle of the Long Mountain. And for some reason that stuck with me, and I thought, hey, instead of Long Mountain, it's Long Mountain with an extra O. What could I do with this? And here we are. I have no idea why my thought process works like this sometimes, but it does. But before I leave you to Mr. Wiggle, I am once more reminding you that you have until the 3rd to submit your entry for the lightsaber art competition on the channel Discord. If I get at least a handful of submissions, I will compile them into a video and let the comments vote on which one they like best. And if this does well, this might become a reoccurring thing. And potentially in the future it might have some actual prize beyond bragging rights down the line. And while we're on the topic of audience engagement, when we hit 1,000 subscribers, I am going to do another live stream. And you know what? Just for fun, if this video hits 100 likes, I will either draw, model, or potentially paint the top comment. And for every 100 likes after that, I'll do the next highest ranked comment. At least until the end of March. Calls to action out of the way, here is Mr. Wiggle of the Long Mountain. I don't know what colors I'm using. It's been a while since I've done one of these, but the basic idea is that I make a color palette and then turn my computer to grayscale mode. And from here on until the final tweaks, I will have no idea what colors I am using. And as one final reminder, March 3rd, which is probably when you're going to see this, is the last day you have to submit your entry for the lightsaber art competition. So if you want to join in, post your artwork to the channel Discord now. While I work on this, man, I will remind you that this is your last chance to put in your submission for the Lightsaber Art Challenge. If you wish to participate, make your lightsaber or legally distinct energy sword artwork and post it to the pertinent channel of the Discord now. You have until midnight. And if you don't know, you can find the link to the Discord by going to the channel description here on YouTube. It's right there. For the rest of March, if this video hits 100 likes, I will draw, paint, or model the top comment. Every 100 likes after that, the next highest ranked comment. And lastly, when we hit 1,000 subscribers, I am doing a live stream.
The calls to action are over. Here's the moist man.
You know, I think I actually like doing horror artwork more than I thought I would. Though, then again, I guess it isn't that surprising. I've really liked the horror genre for most of my life now that I'm actually thinking about it. At least if it's good horror. Stuff that actually builds that feeling of dread rather than just shoving a bunch of jump scares at you. It's honestly a really fine line to walk for it something to be actually scary to me. And for me, that line is at its thinnest with a visual medium. On the flip side, as an audio drama, that's when you're gonna get me with something relatively simple. This is gonna be a pretty niche reference that I don't think any of you are gonna actually get, but bear with me here. In the early 2000s, the podcast The Icebox Radio Theater did a horror short called The Thing on the Ice, which I actually first heard on a different podcast, the Dakota Ring Theater, that was like cross-promoting each other. The story's fairly simple. There's a dude who goes out ice fishing when he's told there's a storm coming, and he's like, I've done this 100 times before, I'll be fine. But it turns out, storms are different for the ones they come for. I don't want to spoil anything because I honestly recommend it, but because it only gives you just enough information for your own mind to paint the picture, it's fantastic. But if you were to make it as a movie or short series or whatever, it wouldn't be nearly as good. But on the other side, I do really like, good monster design and body horror mutation artwork. So even if they're not actually scary to me, I do like a lot of Trevor Henderson, Jar Strawling, Darren Crowley type stuff. And then on the furthest end from being scary but still really cool to me is Will McDaniel's flesh creature puppets he does. Not sure why I decided to go off on a tangent about my taste in horror and horror-related stuff, but I should probably do the call to action now. I'm doing a space art competition, basically do some kind of art of outer space and post it in the Discord by the 17th. And when we hit 1,000 subscribers, I am going to do a live stream. So like and subscribe. And here is... You know what? Why not? Let me just do a quick stickman doodle sketch to have a vague idea of what I'm doing. And I'm going to erase that because it's terrible, and there you go. The Blender project I mentioned working on in the last video kept crashing on me, and the little bit of it that did render didn't look anywhere near how it was supposed to, so I ended up deciding to scrap it, or at the very least put it on hold. If you haven't heard, I'm doing a space art competition, kind of like how I did the lightsaber one just a bit ago. Do some kind of artwork of outer space and post it to the Discord by the 17th if you want to get in on it. Speaking of space art, for this one I have decided to mash together my long-standing enjoyment of doing space art with my newfound enjoyment of doing horror art in something that's extremely obviously Junji Ito inspired. It's not 100% Hellstar Remina, but this is basically Hellstar Remina. So much so that I ended up making an alternate version that's black and white to have a more manga panel-ish look. Let me know in the comments which one you like better. Yeah, I had no idea what I wanted to do for this today, so I just did a random shape thing, and honestly, it's pretty bad, so I'm just gonna erase it. There you go. This dude looks like my sinuses feel. I wanted to try something a little different with this one. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it though, which is why I made a version I passed through a couple filters. Let me know what you think. Also, as a reminder, you have until the 17th to submit your entry for the space art competition. If you want to participate, do some sort of artwork of outer space in whatever medium you choose and post it to the relevant part of the channel Discord. Also, when we hit 1,000 subscribers, I am going to do a live stream. So, like and subscribe, and let me know which version of this you like better. Hey, I could talk again. Still don't sound great, but at least I have my voice back now. If you want to participate in the space art competition, you have 5 days left to make some sort of art of outer space and post it to the Discord. When we hit 1,000 subscribers, I will do a live stream. Hopefully, I will sound a little bit better back then, but we'll see. If this video gets 100 likes, I will do the top comment in whatever art medium I feel is appropriate. And given that it's warmed up nicely, I might start to do some spray paintings again soon. So stay tuned for that. Like and subscribe, and I will leave you with this little potato boy. This took me a day and a half. Doing animation by hand is hard. Like and subscribe. Tomorrow, March 17th, is the last day entries are open for the space art competition. But so far, no one submitted anything, which is kind of sad because I genuinely really want to see what all of you can do. You can use any medium you want. You could do it digitally like this. You could do it in more pixel art style. If you wanted to, you could do it as a painting, whether by hand or by spray paint. You could even try and make something in Blender if you wanted to do it 3D. If you're worried about how good it looks or whatever, don't be. Look at this! This was the first real space art I did on this channel. I called it a competition, but really it's honestly more of a showcase. I use the word competition to try and grab interest. I just want to see what you all can do. Because I know at least a few of you are artists, and I want to see what you can come up with. If you'd like some help or advice, I'd be more than happy to give it. If you just want to submit your art and let that be that, that's fine. If you want to know my feedback, let me know when you post it. Even if you've never tried to do any art in your life before, give it a shot. All you gotta do is make something with the prompt of space and post it to the channel Discord. And if you don't know how to get to the Discord, there's an invite link in the channel description here on YouTube. Again, you can do any art medium you have access to. That's including really unusual stuff, like maybe you want to use the decal system of a video game you have. Heck, you could go way out there and somehow make it in a graphing calculator. Or you could do it more conventionally. The program I'm using for this one is called GIMP. G-I-M-P. It's completely free. Really, as long as it's you making it, you can do it however you want to. So please, give it a shot. I was originally gonna make this creepy, but look at this guy, man, he's such a goofer. Bog merge. More like frog merge, am I right? Oh, absolute peak of humor. I don't know, man, I'm just trying to figure out something to say for this one. Monster Art Competition Community Showcase thing. Deadline's April 1st. You want to be part of it? Do some kind of art with the prompt of monster, post it to the Discord. All skill levels and all art mediums are welcome. And when we hit 1,000 subscribers, I am doing a live stream. So like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you there with both of those.
I cast manual breathing!
I finally figured out how to do something in Blender. But I did have to bake it, and while I was waiting on that, I ended up doodling this juicy, succulent eyeball. And now I'm hungry. So, while the thing I've been working on in Blender starts to render and I start to make dinner, here's this eyeball. And as a reminder, there's the Monster Art Challenge Community Showcase thing. Do something with the prompt of monster and post it to the Discord before the 1st if you want to join. 1,000 subscribers and I do a live stream. After playing around with it a little bit more, I have improved my ability to do fire simulations. And in addition to it behaving more controlledly, I also included a virtual analog of copper salts, thereby making it blue.
Now burn!
As a quick reminder here at the end, if you want to join in the Monster Art Competition Community Showcase thing, get your submissions into the Discord by the 1st of April.
All art mediums and skill levels are welcome.
And when we hit 1,000 subscribers,
I'm going to do a live stream.
That voice isn't edited, by the way. I can
And just do that.
As I make this eel beast, a quick reminder. If you would like to participate in the current Community Art Challenge Showcase, make something with the prompt of monster and post it to the Discord. All art mediums and skill levels are welcome, and I encourage you all to participate because I would genuinely really like to see what you come up with. When the channel hits 1,000 subscribers, which we're getting really close to, I will do a live stream. You'll get to see me work in real time, I'll answer some of your questions, you guys can give me some art prompts, it'll be fun. Now then.
When the jaws open wide and there's more jaws inside, that's a more eel.
Now for the big one. It has a lump. Okay. I'm making a quick short here because I messed up and I want to spare some people the pain if I can help you. So, I was working on this thing and I was using texture painting for the first time in a while. And I forgot that unless you trigger this little checkmark shield thing on your textures, if you save it, even if you leave Blender open, it gets rid of your texture paint and just reverts to the flat color. So all of the detailing and the different shading and everything I spent 30 or so minutes on is just gone. Click the little check mark on your shield when you do texture painting. Don't make this mistake. Have you seen this creature? You see, Subject 72 escaped from the lab last night, and given its speed, it could be literally anywhere in the US. If you do see it, just leave a comment on the video, but don't try to engage or anything. It has fairly strong electrokinetic abilities. And we think it can also read surface level thoughts, though we're not 100% sure on that. So again, if you've seen Subject 72, please let me know, but don't try and engage with it. But on a happier note, we just hit 1,000 subscribers! So the live stream is happening. I am not fully set on when it's going to happen. I will make a short to let you guys know, and I'll also post it to the Discord once I figure out when we're going to do that. It'll be soon, though, so stay tuned. We did it. 1,000 subscribers! 1,000 people who have decided they want to keep watching me. To celebrate hitting that mark, we are doing a live stream. This Saturday, March 29th at 7 p.m. It is incredible that we've gotten to there. Like, genuinely, thank all of you. I am honestly amazed. That is a lot of people who enjoy watching me make whatever weird art thing comes to my mind. Thank you, all of you. And I hope to see you all there. Once again, this Saturday, starting at 7 p.m. I'll see you all there.
You scream. I scream. We all scream. We all scream for ice cream.
I don't know why I decided to do that. Because we hit 1,000 subscribers, I am doing a live stream this weekend. Saturday the 29th, starting at 7 p.m. I'll see you there. Tomorrow, March 29th at 7 p.m., we are going live. And then after that, the end of April 1st is the deadline for your entry into the Monster Art Community Showcase Challenge. So if you wish to participate in that, do some art with the prompt of monster and post it to the channel Discord. I'll see you at the live stream. Last night, to celebrate hitting 1,000 subscribers, we went live. To start off with, I made another
Succulent eyeball.
as well as provide a brief explanation for how to do that voice, because it's not a filter or anything.
I can just do this.
Privately, I refer to that as the wet demon voice.
As opposed to the dry demon voice.
We ended up transitioning to a space art for a while, and then I transitioned to attempting to do an orangutan per request. However, it was at this point that we started to experience some technical difficulties. I was trying to do a slightly different setup this stream where I had the chat on a different screen, but that screen decided to freeze at about right here, and I didn't realize that. And so, until the stream ended, I ended up missing about half of what everyone said. Thankfully, everyone who was watching was also a part of the Discord, so I was able to explain what happened, and y'all were super nice and understanding, so thank you. But we also had a further bit of technical difficulty where the art program crashed on me, so I had to redo the orangutan. From there, I started to make a kind of dragon glass spear thing, but by that point, I thought I was completely alone because the chat broke, and I was getting pretty tired because it was getting close to, I think, 11 o'clock by then, so I pretty much called it there. Though after I closed the stream and saw the other half of the chat messages that I had missed, I found out that your local noob really enjoyed my evil voices and thought I could be a voice actor, which was pretty nice. If you want to see the full live stream, it will be up on the channel in just a little bit once the YouTube editor finishes doing its job. I cut out maybe a minute of the stream, and apparently that's going to take YouTube an hour or two to figure out because it's slow for some reason.
I am fairly certain I can't use Children of the Omnissiah in a long-form video, so this is getting muted all.
In a recent comment, I got asked to talk about kind of my artistic input and what I'm thinking about when it comes to the design of the things I do. But that's actually something that's kind of hard for me to talk about because there's not that much thought behind the art I make a lot of the time. I tend to just have a vague idea of kind of what I want to do, and then start working from there as I begin to actually do the artwork. For instance, with this one, I had the idea that I kind of wanted to do something vaguely Brian Fruitish, the guy who did the art behind Labyrinth and The Dark Crystal. So I stared at some of his artwork for probably at least half an hour, and then started doing a couple sketches, of which this ended up being the one to actually progress past that. But once I had that very loose sketch of the vague shape of what I wanted, I just started. Didn't worry about any kind of details. I let those kind of naturally emerge as I started shading in. All I knew was that I kind of wanted a big nose, goblin-y ears, and a kind of tree branch crown tiara thing. I had no idea that the face was going to look as old and sunken in as it ended up being when I first started. I just kind of started using the dodge burn tool to shade, and it kind of drifted in that direction, and I went with it. Of course, the process is a little different if I'm doing something one of you all has asked me to do, or something that is a pre-existing thing, whether that be something in real life or a character or what have you. But when it comes to things that are purely imagination driven, I just start with the rough idea of what I want and just kind of let it unfold from there. The only real constant in what I do is that I try to do things a little differently each time and keep what works. Sometimes it does end up with things I'm not as happy with, but that's how I like to do it. And the same goes if I'm modeling something in Blender or painting it physically. I'll start with the rough understanding of vaguely what I want to do, start to build off of that. If I see any details or patterns start to emerge in how I'm doing it, I will build off of it. And if it gets stuck in an ugly phase, I try my best to push through it and get it to something I'm happy with. And worst case, if I can't get it out of the ugly phase and I still hate it after who knows how long working on it, then I know what not to do the next time. And I'll either try it again or do something different. And if it's not, quote-unquote, as good as someone else's, that doesn't really matter to me. As long as it's either a little bit better than something I've done before, or I learned something from it, it's good in my eyes.